Okay, we are back. And we last left off. Yeah, we decided not to bet on Eris's Chapter 6. Time just to revisit Mercury and see what the hell they're up to. Completely made. Are you threatening us? In so many words. Odin's statement about having to earn our way out immediately rubbed me the wrong way. Oh, god damn it. What does old coot have up his sleeve this time? Odin, is this really the time for this? Life does not choose when it wishes to challenge you at times that are convenient. In fact, there's a way of striking when you simply cannot afford to leave. You're gonna try and fight us. Bad idea. It's 2 versus 1, and no offense, but age is not on your side. Oh, you mean this? Odin gestured to the weapon in his other hand. This was just to make a point. Seemingly to prove it, Odin dropped the sword as soon as he had lifted it. Even I'm aware that I cannot face you two in a physical duel. Now, were I in my prime... but that is a different story from a different time. No, this battle will be a battle of wits. Cool. And what's going to stop us from just overpowering you and leaving? Mercury! Such defiance in this one. Normally I look down on such behavior, but for some reason it rather suits you. At any rate, you may barge out if you wish. Know that civil security measures you circumvented are far from the only defense in my castle. Already the 2 of you have been captured on camera breaking in. If you refuse to play by my terms, I simply have to answer in kind by sending that footage to the relevant authorities. And believe me, when a man of my stature calls upon the police, they are wont to listen. Shit, that could be bad. Bad for Lara, too. Of course, were you to permanently silence me in this cavern, I could not fulfill that threat. But then you'd have murdered Odin Desma. And surely even you know that there are consequences for such an action. Yeah, as much as Odin was an asshole, I wasn't exactly eager to jump to murder either. Okay, fine. What are your terms? Simple. I subject the 2 of you to a test. A game where you prove your worth. If you win, you can make your way out of this sanctum unfettered. And if we lose? And if we lose? Hey, answer, please? Mercury, if he was going to answer, would have spoken up already. Okay, alright. Sidebar? I grabbed Lara's arm and pulled her to the side. And I spoke in a slightly hushed tone. Alright, so how are we feeling about all this? Are you asking me if I want to indulge in this? Then no shit, obviously I don't. If you're asking me what we should do, I'd say the answer is similarly obvious. I don't want to piss off Odin. You don't either. Yeah, that's probably opening a whole can of worms. Odin's not talking about the punishment. Scare tactic. Besides, if we lose, we just bum rush him like you suggested, and then we deal with things from there. I don't love that plan. Fucking duh, do you have a better one? I didn't. So I moved back over to Odin. Okay. Deal. Bah, I dislike that term. Makes it sound as though you had any choice in accepting this arrangement. I bit my tongue. So what's this test? Or, game? Instead of answering, Odin absentmindedly walked over to another one of his displays. Took down a circular wooden shield, the type a Viking might wear. And he walked further away and opened a cabinet. Took out 4 golden chalices. He opened another drawer, took out 4 golden coins. Finally walked back over to us and put the items on the table and next to us. Now then... Let the rules commence. Odin shouted this with a fury. Pardon me. Let me shout this with a fury. Let the rules commence. One more time. Let the rules commence. Good enough. Odin shouted this with a fury. Lara and I just stared at him. After a moment, he cleared his throat. Did it not occur to him as he made that declaration that he was the one who had to actually explain the rules? You two shall attempt to make the journey to the afterlife. Oh, cool. Though he hid it, I could detect a hint of embarrassment in the old man's voice. You recently passed away. How? Murder. Murder? Who killed me? You don't know. It was a gathering of your family and friends. When the lights went out, you felt a stabbing sensation in your back. Lara, I sincerely doubt this is going to be relevant to the game. It is very much going to be relevant to the game. I'm just trying to buy in. Also, wait, were we both murdered? Was it the same gathering? You two are twins, both faced with the same dilemma. The gathering was for both of you. You both were stabbed. Both of us had friends and family gathered. Was it our birthday? Does it matter? I bet it was our birthday. It makes sense if it was our birthday, because that's why it happened at the same time. Now each of your undead souls trek forth and are met with two figures. Brother gods of the afterlife. God of death and the god of life. Each one may grant you passage to the world beyond. Before either shall aid you, you must first acquire their services. Luckily before you, between the two brothers, there floats a wheel. Wheel upon which 4 golden coins are evenly spread about. Payment of 4 golden coins to either brother would get you where you need to go. But each brother is awfully picky. Each incredibly vain. The brothers both would only accept coins which praise their name to the sky. Odin lifted up one of the golden coins and held it so we could both see. First showed us the side with a human face on it. Life? He flipped it around, showing the side with a skull. Or death. So this is a heads or tails kind of game. Man, my immortal soul's on the line here. These brothers won't help out unless the coins I give them are facing a certain way? These guys are some jerks. Most gods are. But fair point. Alright, fine. Flip the coins to be all facing the same way and give them to one of the brothers. Ah. Life, or in this case death, is never is so simple. Of course not. As your spirit approaches the wheel, 4 chalices materialize. Chalices of human sin, of earthly regrets. These chalices, they are proof of your past life. Only you can see them, touch them. The gods, unburdened with a soul that was once mortal, it is as though those chalices simply do not exist. The chalices are, despite their size, incredibly weighty. However, you retain a bit of strength remaining from your past life, enough to barely lift the chalices. As you possess 2 hands, you can lift 2 chalices at a time. When a chalice is lifted, you can see the coin beneath and flip it. Wait, if we are holding 2 cups with both hands, how can we flip the coins? You are now a spirit, not constrained by the physical realm. Your essence has the strength to flip the coin on its own. In that case, why can I only hold 2 cups again? The chalices are human sin and regret embodied. They require a physical presence to raise. And my spirit essence can't travel through them. Indeed. It is linked to your human soul, after all. Seems incredibly contrived, but whatever. It's a thought experiment. Let it happen. We wish to make all the coins face the same way, honoring either life or death. However, there is a snag. Shocker. These chalices are placed upon the Wheel of Fate. As we all know, the Wheel of Fate is prone to spin whenever the scales are shifted. Therefore, as soon as the chalices are placed back down over the coins, the wheels will spin rapidly before you. It shall spin in such a manner that you shall completely lose track of which chalices you have just raised. Oh no. Oh yes. make matters worse, your physical strength is fleeting. The second, you feel that form you once held dissipating. At most, you'll be able to raise both chalices a total of 5 times. How specific? The gods are not without mercy, however. At any point that chalices are placed over 4 coins which all praise their name, they shall take this as payment and move you to the place beyond. However, if you are unable to make payment, if you are unable to lift the chalices once more, and the coins remain on a line, you shall be doomed to wander limbo in perpetuity. Understood? Barely. I get it. Wait a second. Why did these chalices fall on top of the wheel in the first place? That's your question? You do not know. You can merely speculate. You can tell that she's done this before with Odin. She understands his little thought experiments, thought games. And it's natural that if you're going to be doing this anyway, you might as well play along and set the scene. You don't know any of this. Why are you holding that detail out? Oh, but you do. We do? We know about the brother gods and the afterlife and the payment and whatnot? Indeed. As you walked upon this path, this knowledge seemed to come to you naturally, as it does to all the spirits. In fact, it is as though you always knew these truths, but the curse of life prevented you from remembering them. Okay, then. So we don't get to know why the chalices are there, huh? It's a test to get into the afterlife. Maybe it happens for everybody. You need to overcome it if you want to move on. So you're saying that the determining factor as to whether you get to pass on as a spirit is if you can solve a logic puzzle. It seems like a pretty messed up system. Hold a minute, why am I engaging with this in the first place? Because you have to, my boy. None of this is real. Odin, could you just explain what we need to do for your test? I already did. Ah, but I just did. Could you explain it without all the mythology nonsense? Like just the physical actions and rules that will be required. I did. You just need to shut up and listen, boy. Odin sighed. The great art of storytelling is dead, and we have killed it. Hey, I like the scenario, Odin. Very well, then. Well, the rules should have been clear by now, but I shall enumerate them more clearly for the dim-witted amongst you. The phrase, amongst you, had a very different meaning when there are only 2 other people. Amogus, there are 4 coins. There are 4 chalices. Chalices will be placed over the coins. You should not get to know what position the coins are when we start. You get to lift any 2 chalices on your turn. When the chalices are lifted, you can observe them and turn them however you wish. At the end of your turn, you will put the chalices back over the coins. Once the chalices are back over the coins, I will tell you if all 4 coins are facing the same way. If they are, you win. If they aren't, you will close your eyes and I will spin the wheel upon which these chalices and coins are placed on. When you make to choose the chalices, you shall point at the 2 you wish to lift. I will have another opportunity to spin the wheel before you lift the chalices that occupy those positions. Eh? I've been listening along intently up until that point. However, this was a section I felt the need to interject. Whoa, hold on. What's that about? Mere formality, Mercury. A little addition I had added to make sure you do not rely on mere chance. Victory must be airtight. I wanted to argue. Instead, I shrugged. Good. You have a total of 5 turns. If after 5 turns you cannot make all 4 coins face the same direction, you lose. The only actions permitted are the ones clearly defined in the rules. While I appreciate creativity, that is not a weapon permitted within this battlefield. No marking the chalices in an attempt to keep yourself navigated. No trickery involving magnets or the tools. No placing the chalices in a specific way or leaving the coins on their edges or any nonsense like that. You shall live and die by a single attribute. Logic. It is simple enough for you. Odin asked this question pointedly at me. It took a second to think. Then I nodded. I hadn't yet cracked how to play this game. At the very least, I understood the parameters well enough now. No lore bullshit, this was just a logic check. Could handle logic checks. Took a moment to appreciate Odin's variety with his trials. To enter the sanctum, I had to solve a puzzle you could see in an escape room, one that primarily relied on creative thinking and abstract connections. In contrast, this challenge clearly relied on basic and straightforward principles of logic and deduction. He clearly wanted to test different modes of thinking. And yet, all the while, he had a penchant for dressing things up in weird abstract metaphors and fables involving gods and myths. His name's fucking Odin, of course he does. It's an odd fascination to say the least. Odin would surely be an interesting person to study. Understand the way his mind works, how he came to be this person. A job for someone more empathetic, perhaps. Yeah, I think I get it. Sounds good, I like this test. Agreed. I'm sure we can handle this. Excellent, excellent. Very well then, let us begin. Who wishes to challenge the Wheel of Fate first? Excuse me? Oh, did you not pay attention? Maybe twins, struck with a similar fate, but you approach this juncture at separate periods. Similarly, the two of you shall both face the puzzle alone. Seriously? We both have to earn passage. Separately. You didn't say anything about this. You didn't ask. Well, I don't think... Poor habit to develop, girl. Not thinking. You ought to do a lot more thinking. Hence why I aim to separate the two of you. I found that the weak often use each other as a stepladder to rise above their rightful station. And what would you call the whole Zahak thing? The two of you approaching this together could bounce ideas off of one another, discuss, and do all sorts of other completely unsportsmanlike things. How is discussing the problem unsportsmanlike? A task designed for one mind should be faced by one mind. Combining two heads, the difficulty is effectively halved. No, that won't do at all. You two shall face this task separately. Exchanged a look with Lara. Neither of us seemed pleased with this development, but there was but so much we could do about it. Okay then. But Odin, what if one of us wins and the other loses? You shall succeed and falter by your own skin. One among you passes this test and the other fails, and the rewards and punishments shall be justly delivered, meaning the winner may leave. Loser may not. It's fine. It is. I mean, I can handle this, so at least I'll be able to escape. Hey, I also have this. Easy. Excellent. Then this separation shall pose no threat. I guess not. Good. Then, Mercury, if you would be so kind, could you make your way to the corner? The corner? Seriously? Indeed, if you could face into it, that would be for the best. Oh, naturally, no talking, no exchanging hints, nothing of the sort. That would defeat the whole purpose of this exercise. Being told to face the corner like a child wasn't massively enticing for me. But no choice, right? So, kinda awkwardly, I walked over to the corner of the room. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. I stood, facing the wall. Then a few moments later, I heard movement from behind. Must be starting. I should take advantage of the time I have. Unfortunately for Lara, she has a much more limited period of time in which she has to come up with a strategy. But I had the benefit of foresight. Speaking of foresight, a thought crossed my mind. I noticed something hanging on the wall. I didn't like being completely devoid of tools. If I took any weapons, that'd probably be noticed. Can't imagine Odin would be happy to part with any of his, like the expensive, murder ornaments. Hanging up next to one of those ornaments as a part of the decorations, I noticed a wire. That could work. Suddenly, without looking back, without much movement, I reached out for the wire. And then, I pulled and took it. Finally, I put the wire in my pocket. Good. There. Hopefully that would come in handy. Or actually, hopefully that wouldn't. But you know, if it would come in handy, I now have it. So that's good. Back to the matter at hand. A game. The coin game. Let's see. How to guarantee all the coins face the same way? Racked my brain, but I was coming up empty. How? Was this even possible? I mean, in theory, it was incredibly likely that I'd be able to. If I just decided to make them all heads or all skulls, either way, it'd probably be possible. And I get to check 2 cups 5 times. That's 10 checks. The odds I get to check all 4 coins is incredibly high. Things weren't that simple. Odin was controlling what cups I'd actually get to pick. Basically, he could ensure my worst possible luck. Any strategy that relied on a probability was dead in the water from the start. Thinking about it more, Odin wanted he could make sure that I never even got the chance to look under one of the cups. In that case, how could it be possible? It couldn't, right? How would you make any progress? Think. What information vectors are there? For one, there was the wind state. Odin's keeping track of all 4 coins. At any time a turn ended with all 4 coins facing the same way, it'd be over. So alternatively, when the game continues, we can be sure that the 4 coins aren't all facing the same way. Maybe that's obvious. It'd probably be important. Still, there had to be more than that. That was all I had to work with, and winning was impossible. Was that it? Just an impossible game. Was that the trick? No. The way that Odin spoke, it sounded like there was definitely a way to get past it. Just wasn't seeing it. Think. What ways could I impact the game? I could flip the coins however I wanted. I could pick which cups to flip. Except seeing as Odin could spin the wheel after my choice, which cups I flipped were meaningless. Wait. This makes sense. If it was meaningless, why would he let me pick the spaces in the first place? Well done. My thoughts were interrupted by a commotion. Whew, that was close. If I had... Oh, no. Not a word for you. Not while Mercury is yet to face the gauntlet. So I can turn around now? But of course, I did just that. Lara was standing proud in front of Odin. Odin, for his part, didn't look particularly bothered to be bested. Lara, since you've already succeeded, there's no need for you to go to the corner. You can watch Mercury. Cool. Oh, now come, Mercury. Walk the path to the afterlife. Pay the piper. Without a word, I approached Odin. I was in no rush. After all, I hadn't quite figured out my strategy for approaching the game yet. But it didn't matter. I'd figure it out. I'd come out ahead. If Lara could solve it with less time, then so could I. I walked right up to Odin. Ready to play? Yep. The trick is to not overcomplicate things. I just have to make all the coins face the same way. Simple as that. That is your mindset, I wonder. Can you truly find the way forward? I wouldn't be so quick to underestimate me. Talk is cheap. Now is the time for action. Couldn't have put it better myself. Well then, shall we dance? Thought you'd never ask. If you don't mind, let us... My god, just get to it! And with Lara's chastisement, both Odin and I shut up. Instead, we began to play. Okay. I gotta remember how to even start this, how to even end this. How do I even interact with this? What does the light bulb button do? Don't know. We'll get back to that. Okay, let's figure out what the fuck we're doing. I had to pause recording to take a phone call, but naturally in the 15 minutes therein, I did not even get a chance to put together any sort of plan on how to handle this. How to even start this? How to even end this? I mean, Odin gets total control over which cups I end up with. There has to be a way to control what I'm selecting. No, I should ignore distractions. If I manipulate Odin, I get some input on which cups I end up with. I only get one save, so what does the button do? Different angles of cups. Mark the cups. Manipulate Odin. What does this button do? This button does nothing. I need to come up with a plan with consistency. And how would I manipulate Odin? Stupid. It's so stupid. Shit. I failed. Different angles of cups. I mean, there will be a difference between choosing 2 adjacent cups and 2 non-adjacent cups. I should try and spend the first 2 turns setting all the coins in a single direction. At the very least, I can guarantee a difference between choosing a straight line of cups or a diagonal of cups. Get a maximum of 2 coins facing the same way in 2 turns with certainty. Let's apply that knowledge to the largest problem currently facing my victory. Okay, 3 coins. The same way in 2 turns. If I pick adjacent and flip both coins to heads, and then I pick non-adjacent, that at the very least gives me a chance to at least confirm. Like, if I pick 2 adjacent coins and then pick 2 non-adjacent coins, the worst Odin can do is manipulate my picks so that I get 1 coin that I already touched the previous turn. So I think the answer here is 3. If I choose a straight line of cups and diagonal one, then I'm guaranteed to see at least 3 coins. I need to be able to guarantee that I can make all coins face the same direction on the final turn. Flip them all the same way, and I know that after 2 turns I have a certain setup. Just 1 coin is flipped the wrong way. Odin can make it. He can just make it so that I can't flip it. And what comes after that? Straight lines. Diagonal lines facing opposite directions. I think we have to make diagonal lines. Then Odin gives me... It's pretty much guaranteed to give me 1 head, 1 tail. Assuming I pick adjacent. I pick non-adjacent. I'm guaranteed to flip 2 coins and get them all the same direction. If I could just flip the final coin, it'd be over, but I'd be most certainly not get that chance. Yes, on that last turn I could just pick a diagonal line of cups. And with no direction, how do I make any progress? If the diagonals have opposite facing coins, no matter which diagonal I choose, I can flip both coins to win the game. Just flipping a single coin seems pretty pointless. That just might be it. If I choose diagonal line of cups to flip, they flipped a single coin. And I guarantee a position of 2 diagonal lines on opposite facing coins. Okay, in that case, I guarantee to flip 1 coin adjacent to the already flipped coin. I guarantee it to into a position of 3 coins facing one way, 1 facing the other. Okay. What are my options here? It's gonna be 2 and 2. Straight lines opposite facing coins. In a position that isn't possible. Got to flip, only flip a single coin. What if I can't rewind through there? Confirm I flip 2 coins in opposite corners. Pick opposites. Flip 2 to be opposites. Pick adjacent. Flip 1 to be adjacent. So turn 1, I pick a diagonal. I flip them both to be tails. Turn 2, I pick adjacent. I flip the coin on the left to be heads, and get some arrangements that it's left heads, right tails. Thinking about this here. Odin could arrange this so that I get one of my tails either way. So I have a diagonal of tails. I'm guaranteed at least one tail when I pick 2 adjacent on turn 2. We're theory crafting here. Let me see if I can get this in here somehow. Okay. So, I don't know if you can see. My cursor on here. So, you pick 2 die on a diagonal. Red is tails. Make sure you're both tails. Then I pick 2 adjacent. So I pick here and here. Yeah, I can get here and here. These 2, so unknown on the left, my tail on the right, my tail on the left, unknown on the right, unknown on the left, my tail on the right, my tail on the left, unknown on the right. If I get a head here on the left or the right, I know that I'm golden. But I have to flip something, don't I? Guaranteed to flip 1 coin adjacent to the already flipped coin. 2 straight lines of opposite facing coins. I guarantee a position of 2 diagonal lines of opposite facing coins. Flip 1 coin adjacent to the already flipped coin. Chose a diagonal to flip, only flipped a single coin. I don't know. Can't guarantee it. Shit. Bollocks. I gotta turn that off. Alright. Is it this way? And I can't guarantee it. Shit. Is this not possible? That way I would ensure 2 straight lines of opposite-facing coins. Fuck! I'm just fucked! Shit! Fuck! Two straight lines of opposite-facing coins. Okay, so we're not... I misread this. We're not talking about... One, I misread this. We're not talking about diagonals. We're talking about straight lines. So... we're gonna try this. That way I would ensure 2 straight lines of opposite-facing coins. In that case, if I flipped over a straight line of cups and flipped both coins I saw... Do big... What? I feel like... What? I think the path to victory is somewhat straightforward. With 3 turns I can ensure that there are 2 straight lines of opposite-facing coins. Without fail. The last 2 turns, if I start with a position of 2 straight lines of opposite-facing coins, I can win without fail. Alright, with the strategy in tow, I began to flip cups and coins. Just as I predicted, Odin always gave me the worst option. Just like I predicted, I always responded with what was guaranteed me progress. After a cutthroat final 5 turns, I finally made my final 2 coin flips. Are we gonna lose? So, did I win? It would appear to have emerged victorious. Alright. I like jumping in the air with joy. Strained myself, obviously. But still. Good feeling. Very satisfied. I knew I could do it. Nice work, Mercury. Thanks. Oh, good work to you too, Lara. Want to take another shot at that one? Nope. If I may ask, what was your guiding light through this task? I mean, what was my strategy? Be less poetic. I read your poem and I don't know if you get to lay claim to that epithet. Anyways, it was simple enough that once I had figured out that lifting up cups in a line was substantially different than lifting up cups diagonally. If I started out doing both of those back to back, I'd get to see 3 of those coins. Setting them all the same way felt like a good first step. And since the game didn't end then and there, I knew the 4th coin was the other way. Oh, right. After that, I was kind of hoping that by choosing a diagonal, I'd be able to find the 4th coin and set it right. Seeing as you were never going to let that happen, the next best thing was flipping one of the coins back. That way I knew for a fact that there was one straight line of coins facing one way, another line of coins facing the other way. Like it to be straight lines of coins. And there was checkmate. I listed 2 cups in a line and I got 2 coins facing the same way. I could flip them both and be done with it. On the other hand, if the coins were different, I would still flip them both. That would get me diagonal, and then pick a diagonal, flip them both and win. Because then the coins would still be separated in 2 lines of 2 different faces. And this time the lines were diagonal. And no matter how you spin the wheel, if I lifted the 2 cups diagonally, I was certain to be able to put things in order. Good. Very good. Nice to know you didn't just stumble into the correct answer. Really think that of me? One can never be too sure. Stranger things have happened. Damn. Odin really didn't believe in me. I don't know why, but despite not caring about Odin at all, it still stung a little. I mean, you did kind of shit all over his roleplay. Poor Daesma children. Very well then. I'm a man of my word. You have passed to the afterlife. Now die. Pulls out gun. That is the life after this bunker. Proud of that one, huh? Thank you, Odin. So glad you could help us like that. Ah, don't mention it. Now, if everything else is settled, time for you to go to the afterlife. Blat blat. Hold on. I cut in before Odin could keep speaking. part of me wanted to cut my losses. Get out while the going was still good. But I was curious. Sue me. Before anything else, I want to ask you another question. Mercury... Another, huh? How greedy. Odin examined me, stroking his beard. He was giving my request deliberation, which was more than I expected. After a bit of time, he nodded. Okay then. I see no foul in this. Ask. Thank you, Odin. That means a lot. Okay, so I want to know. Zahak. Where is he now? Oh? Did I not inform you of the end of his story? You told me he was in jail. But depending on what he was charged with, I doubt he was put away with a life sentence. So then, where is he now? Underground, I'd imagine. Huh? You mean, he's dead? Indeed. Damn. Damn indeed. Taken from us too soon. Lived a long life, but passed away before he could be released from prison. Disease, if I remember right. That's a shame. Sorry to hear that, Odin. Wait, I'm not done with this line of questioning. I was about to toss a softball and call it a day. The Zahak lead felt important. What about relatives? Did Zahak have children? Quite thorough, this one. It is true that men of stature often pass down their will through legacy. Marduk and myself certainly have taken this route. Marduk has kids? Indeed, Zahak did have a daughter, however she too passed away quite some time ago. Unfortunately for you, sometimes answers aren't that simple. Okay, then what about relationships? Zahak had a wife, right? What about her? Ah, Echidna. Too weak-willed, I fear. After her daughter's passing, considering her husband's imprisonment, there was nothing left here for the poor widow. Moved away from Panthea, and as far as I know, she's had nothing to do with this city's affairs for some time. Damn. Looked like I wasn't gonna get an easy solution after all. What solution are you looking for? I guess the Zahak 2.0 explanation was a little bit simplistic in the first place. I guess it was possible that I was overinflating the importance of Zahak on the current state of Panthea. It may have shaped this city, but time has passed. Things were different now. Okay, let me tackle this from a different angle. You claim that you don't intend meddling with Panthean affairs anymore. At least not to any major extent. Indeed. I am in my twilight years. My eyes are set slightly closer to home. If that's the case, what's with those files I found? Did I not explain this already? Because I do not wish to meddle doesn't mean I don't wish to stay informed. Okay, but the files had threat levels. We talked about protecting something. They were clearly written with an agenda, one that seemingly will be acted upon. The notes even written by you? I believe you asked your one question, did you not? Ah, shit. He was right. Damn it, why did I waste time with the Zahak thing? That information was stuff I could get on my own time. Very well, then. That matter is settled, we should then move back to the topic I was going to say. That is your leave from my house. I'm aware you are being pursued by an assassin type. The moon has moved far. At this point, daylight approaches. I find it unlikely that this assassin has laid in wait all this time. Especially knowing of me and my nature. Simply put, it would be too great a risk on their part. Therefore, you should probably have safe passage through the forest. Now, does this assassin know your identity? Ah! In that case, if you reach your home, you should be safe. He definitely knows me. But you can still protect yourself, can you not? Yeah, I've got some wiggle room. Very well, then. It is then proper for you to now make your leave. I nodded, and Lara followed suit. Again, thank you. Yeah, thanks. I guess. Kept that last part to myself. Made our way to the stairs. However, before we could make our way up... one last thing. Odin spoke, and we stopped in our tracks. Lara, I must say you never cease to impress. Oh, thank you. This is not idle flattery. Both of you should be commended for facing this trial. However, Mercury had a bit of time to plot. You, however, were immediately thrusted into the gauntlet and still emerged victorious. I wanted to interject that I could have solved it too, but that seemed pretty. You impressed me similarly during your stay at my mansion. You have your sensibilities. Oh, is this the will? You have a keen mind, if unpolished in some areas. Chiefly, you have potential. That is a rare and cherished thing. You can go far. Aim far. Oh. Well, that's super generous of you to say. Be sure to do just that. This was the first time I had heard such clear praise from Odin. I guess he really did hold a high opinion of Lara. It wasn't something that could be won in a single night. Probably has something to do with the time they spent together beforehand. And Mercury? Oh, have you also got something to say to me? Get out. Indeed. You. I may have been too quick to judge you. Thanks? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? You too have potential yet. However, whether you will reach your desires at the end of this quest, or if your efforts will all be for naught, that is much harder to see. Either way, I'm certain that your journey will be quite fascinating, and that's all I can ask for. I shall be watching over you with great anticipation. Do not disappoint. I'll try not to? Very well then. That is all. GG, shake my hand. Just like that, just as quickly as Odin had interrupted us, he turned back away and began making his way over to the table. We were done. There's a lot to process about that whole encounter. First things first. Let's get to safety. Lara made her way up the stairs, and I followed close behind her. Pushed open the hatch above us, and just like that, we were back in the weird room with the statues. We kept walking in silence out of the room, through the mansion's halls, until we took an unfamiliar turn. Before I knew it, we were standing at the front door. And then we moved through it. We were outside Odin's mansion. We're, for lack of a better word, free. As Odin speculated, it didn't appear that Thane was in sight. The trail that led out of the forest, eventually back to Panthea properly, was within view. Well then indeed. That was certainly a thing. Yeah, you're telling me. Odin's quite a character, huh? Yeah, not really in a good way. No. But I have to imagine if divorced from context, his whole gimmick would play a lot better. Agreed. Anyway, the important part is that he made it through his game and back out into the world. Odin might still be my favorite character. I know I was giving Eris high praise last time for the turn her story has taken, but Odin might very well be my favorite character. Yep. Jeez, that game. What was the point of that whole story? Why add any of it? It's just aesthetics. I noticed you definitely got into it. Hey, look, I was just going along with him. I thought it'd be easier that way. I'm not part of your little gang. No need to act tough in front of me. Not sure what you're implying, but it sure as shit isn't true. You like it. You like the games. Hey, no need to get defensive. I don't blame you, Lara, I do too. I'm just saying you should look into playing some RPGs. It's like you'd be into it. Whatever. D&D, yeah. You would love D&D, not gonna lie. Anyway, I guess we were, safe? For now, at least. Yeah, for now. I mean, you gotta go back to work with him, right? Well, work, air quotes. How's that gonna work out? Well, I'll tell you, I'm sure as shit not gonna be leaving the V-Hall without a number of eyes with me. Probably want to invest in home security. How to actually deal with it? Lara seemed to trail off somewhat. Seemed like she was putting off thinking about this part. I don't know. Like I said, this whole encounter was something of a draw. I learned his dirty secret. Either in mine. Hard to say which, if either, matters to Marduk. Worst case scenario, it could blow up both our stations. So, it's weird. Guess I'll just, not do anything. Not do anything? Seriously? Feels wrong. I mean, if it brings shit up, obviously so will I. Just without harder evidence, without a better position, it's difficult. Worked hard to get where I was in the duats. I don't want to risk that. Thane's also been put in a riskier position after the whole affair with Gil. Probably wants to play things safe as well. So, there we go. Stalemate. Alright then. That's good. Good enough. I nodded. I took a moment to scan the perimeter. Again, I didn't see any signs of Thane. So it looks like Odin was probably right. Can't imagine that Thane is still lurking around. Especially with daybreak coming any minute now. Too risky for him. You're right. He'd probably just go home now. Still, I won't feel safe until... Well, I don't know when I'll feel safe. Understandable. Say, do you want me to walk with you till you're safe back home? I mean, I know that sounds a little weird, but just, you know, as a precaution. For a moment, I entertained the idea. For a second thought, I shook my head. I mean, I appreciate the offer. I just don't think that's really necessary. I mean, don't get me wrong, super thankful for everything you did tonight. But, well, I take this the wrong way, but I kind of want nothing to do with either of you or this after tonight. Look of shock crossed Lara's face, as if she hadn't expected this response. Then she nodded her head in understanding. Right, that's fair. That makes a lot of sense. And I mean, it's not like we owe each other either. Just both happen to run away at the same time. Right. Like I said, I appreciate your help up until now. Beyond our shared interest in not being murdered, I think that's as far as this relationship goes. Lara nodded again, this time more sure of herself. Okay then, I guess I'll just start leaving now. Lara took a few steps toward this trail. You coming? I actually think I'm gonna take a minute. Just, you know, to collect my thoughts. Okay then, fine. Well, I guess this is goodbye then. We probably won't see each other again. I'd imagine not. In that case, it was nice knowing you. You too. I hope everything works out for you with the Duons. I really do. Panthea deserves a better leader for the Duons. Panthea deserved to be rid of the Duons, to be blunt. Thanks. Then for another moment, Lara hesitated. Oh, you know, it's funny. Even though there's no real reason for it, I kinda feel bad for leaving right now. That right? Well, thanks, I guess? Thanks? Yeah, not because of you, doofus. It just reminded me of a saying that an old friend of mine would say now and again. If you have trouble saying goodbye, then you've been blessed with a meaningful connection. In that case, simply smile and thank the other person. Huh. I like that. I always found it overly sentimental to the point of being cheesy. But it's a nice sentiment, I guess. It is. With that simple final sentence, Lara turned back around. I walked down the path, out of the forest. And there I was. There I stood. Free. Alone. It was... I didn't know how to feel. It was a liberating feeling, sure. Also something of an empty one. I couldn't help but feel conflicted about this night in general. A lot had happened, to be sure. But had I gotten anywhere particularly? Well, I certainly got somewhere. I got out alive. That alone should be a victory. I learned of the man-jet. Learned its true nature. That was good, I thought. But I had far from learned all the mysteries that boat had to offer. Well, maybe I had. It was hard to say. There was definitely some truth I had failed to grasp. Question of how I even wound up there in the first place. Mysterious case of my fainting. What was the deal with that? Was it just coincidence? Was it the will of a hidden ill intent, one I have yet to locate? Could it be a mixture of the two? People oft would pin things on singular causes. I like to think of reality as nice and clean. As simple and clean. Or at least, that's what they imagine of the reality that they can't see. The reality we do see certainly isn't nice and clean. So why would our mysteries be? Is it possible that what landed me in that container was a combination of multiple things, some intentional, some not? Even still, there has to be some concrete cause in it all. The thing that causes me to pass out like that. At this point it dawned on me that I wasn't actually leaving yet. And that was fine. It had already been a long enough night. What was the harm in staying out a bit longer? I was on a thought stream, and now I'm going to conveniently set up my final chapter. I didn't want to get off. So I had brought about a lot of truths. Are you drawing this out to tease the possibility of getting attacked by Thane? Some less pleasant. For instance, I was far less safe than I'd like to think of myself. One thing for sure, I need to be a lot less impulsive in the future. I mean, for the start, I knew the journey JC had sent me on would be dangerous. Up until this point, I'd always been cautious, had outs. This was, to put it lightly, a dangerously close shave. Of something that I couldn't afford to have happen again. Speaking of JC... No, don't get sad. Don't get emotional. Detach. Was I still dealing with this? What a pain. But yeah, JC's death was always the assumption. Even still, in the light of some recent information, I'd begun to cling to the weak hope that somehow she might still be alive. In some way, she was wrong in that video she sent me. She had made it through the other side of the storm alive, and Well, she never was going to be well, but alive. That's all I would have wanted. In light of the discoveries I had made tonight, I had to face facts. True, I still had yet to actually see a body. That was because there was nobody to see. JC was murdered on the man jet. Think otherwise. That was no more than a false hope. A product of emotion, not what someone with thinking straight would believe. Ah well. Standing still was wearing me out. Because when did I like to stand still? You're getting suspiciously focusing on how much we're standing still right now. I should walk around. I was faced with a uniquely beautiful setting anyway. You should leave. This twilight forest, right before the break of dawn. I decided to take a slow walk through the trees. We'll make my way to the main path soon enough, to be sure. But what was the rush? Oh, great. We are setting ourselves up to be attacked. As I walked through, my mind turned over to more dark thoughts. I should be less impulsive, Mercury says, taking a very exposed walk through the woods, off the beaten path, just waiting to get attacked and murdered. I may have escaped Thane for now, but could I really be safe? For one, how'd I end up passed out in that construction crate? It wasn't natural, it couldn't be. Even though it didn't really make sense, was it possible that there was someone there when I passed out? Someone who drugged me? If so, then who? Thane played dumb like he didn't know I was there, but was that the truth? Probably. The man jet was Duat property. I had to assume if somebody was on the boat with me, then it was another Duat member. Maybe they knocked me out, thought they killed me, decided to just leave my body there for the foreseeable future. It just didn't make any sense. Maybe it was Lara. I don't remember being manually knocked out at all. Regardless, that wasn't the only danger to be worried about. If Thane knew nothing, he was still a threat. Wasn't sure how the situation with Lara played out. It seemed complicated and political. In my situation, it seemed a lot more straightforward. Thane didn't want a civilian like me to live and tell tonight's tale. He'd probably continue to hunt me down. Not just him. Even though he was hiding his actions for the Duats, you could probably get them nipping at my heels all the same. I could think of any number of stories as to why I had to be disposed of. Well, would he really send them after me when I could tell them what I had witnessed? No, that could easily be circumvented. All you have to do is ensure a kill first, ask questions later policy. Hopefully Lara could help me somewhat on that front. I wondered how much she could really do. Thane got a good look at me. He probably gave me a very thorough description of me. He tried to paint the cleanest picture possible. Are we gonna go after Thane to kill him? So then, considering my appearance, that could be a problem. What is your appearance? We've never seen you. Some other information, it was possible that... Instantly, I stopped in my tracks. Breathing stopped. My heart went still. I could feel the slight breeze pushing on me, and I pushed back, because I couldn't dare make the slightest movement, the slightest sound. When Thane was so close. Yep, you set yourself up for this shit, you fucker. Not when he hadn't noticed me. Just stood there, petrified. Please. Stay still, too. For a few moments, this was the only thought that could possibly enter my brain. However, after enough time had passed, I realized something. Thane wasn't moving either. He was also perfectly still. In other words, as long as I didn't make an obvious noise, I'd be safe. Okay. That was good. That was step 1. Step 2 is figuring out what the fuck was going on. Why was he... Tried analyzing the situation. His position. Come on, we're at the end of a chapter. Why are we doing this? His stance. His motives. And then I realized what he was up to. I was hiding behind a tree close to the actual path that left Odin's manor. Path back through the forest. And I guess he was probably waiting for his prey to pass by, so he could ambush them. Hey, that was the same path Lara had walked by earlier. Why did nothing happen then? The answer I ended up settling on wasn't exactly satisfying, but it was probably the truth. Thane initially counted on the two of us leaving at the same time, which have tracked us down to the mansion. Decided that at some point before too long, we'd leave it and try to get out of Panthea's forest. So for his part, he just had to wait. Soon enough, the chance for his ambush would come. He hears vague chatter from a distance. Knows it's coming soon. Waits, then a person comes into sight. Except it is just one person. It is just Lara. And Thane has to make a snap decision. He kills Lara, I'm likely to hear this and flee. Likely to get away. So Thane decided to let Lara walk by without doing anything. Spare her, essentially, in order to gun for a bigger threat. That was me, I guess. Bigger threat. That in itself was probably worth some thought, but now was not the time. What is going to happen in Mercury's final chapter that we're setting all of this up now? He was in an ambushing position. We're at hour in. When I walked down the path, he would have popped out, and that would have been that. I certainly would have been killed. And yet, a whim. It felt bad. It pained me to my core to admit it. But really, what it saved me was a whim. Whim to not rush. Whim to think. Whim to pace off the trail, which had moved me to this location in the forest that Thane absolutely could not have predicted. So then, with Thane there, Thane was a bad person. Nobody could dispute that. I mean, Panthea was filled with villains. Thane was a monster. Mechanical. Violent. Murderer. The longer he remained, the more atrocities he would commit. He was a public nuisance to the nth degree. It wasn't like rehabilitation was a likely option to work on him. He was a bad person. Nobody would dispute that. Nobody would miss him. More to the point, it was practical. Practically speaking, Thane was a threat. A threat to a lot of people. A threat to me. Could describe my appearance. We are really going to try and kill the man. Could rally the troops against me. In general, he stood between me and my goals. He was a danger. If I left him alone, he wouldn't leave me alone. To that end, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Extreme coincidence. The type of luck I don't like to believe in. I had to drop on Thane in a way I doubted I would have again anytime soon. So then... it was... obvious, right? Logical. Slowly. Very slowly. Walk towards Thane. How are you? Step, step, as lightly as I could manage. We're really doing this right now, aren't we? No matter what, I couldn't let Thane notice me. As my approach was slow, I had to keep approaching. Take too long, Thane might get too restless. Difficult balance to manage, for sure. But I made progress. Closer, closer. Well, I knew it, I was quite close to Thane. Distance where we could have a normal conversation. That wasn't close enough. Closer. I could probably reach out and touch Thane. Why isn't he reacting? He could reach out and grab me. Don't think about that. Don't think about anything. Just closer. How are we getting this close to him without him noticing us? For I knew it, I was close enough. Too close, even. Close enough where he might hear my breathing. The second I stayed at this range was the second he might notice me. Couldn't waste any more time. With a weird mix of speed and caution, I took out the wire I had tucked away in my pocket. And then, in an instant, I wrapped the wire around Thane's neck. Okay, we're killing Thane now, ladies and gentlemen. And I pulled tight. It was weird. I'd never done something like this before. I always think about it in the abstract as something hard to conceptualize. When you're in the moment, it's actually quite easy. Just motions you do in daily life. This wasn't strangling. This was pulling. Pulling tight. Thane immediately started struggling. Realized what was happening and tried to do something with his gun. However, the moment I saw him going for that move, I kicked the gun out of his hand. I scanned my memory. Then I kicked the back of one of Thane's legs. He fell to his knees and I continued to pull. Thane tried to reach out back. From his position on the ground, it was incredibly awkward. He slightly moved, they couldn't even touch me, much less do anything. My muscles began to strain, keeping this wire taut. I couldn't feel too bad, because Thane was having a much worse time of it. He began to paw at his boat, trying to do something about the wire. But he didn't have any implement to remove the wire. That paw was completely ineffective. Finally, he just held his body up with his hands. But here, beneath his mask, a desperate choking sound. He was coming to the realization that there was nothing he could do to prevent the current situation. He was realizing that his life was leaving him. So for a few more seconds, we just stayed in that equilibrium. Then I was doing more than strangling. His arms let go, and I had to keep his body up with a wire. Part of me wanted to let go. Enough was enough. I wasn't falling for this if it was a ploy. Used all my strength to keep Thane's body up, to keep pulling, and pulling, and pulling. Then once it was completely unreasonable to think Thane was acting, I finally let go. Thane fell forwards, and I collapsed onto the ground backwards. Achievement unlocked! Murderer! I was panting heavily, sweating profusely. I could feel my vision becoming splotchy. Time for your first, My stomach was ill. A simple fact I didn't want to accept. Lying before me was a corpse. I had just murdered Thane. Everyone makes a big deal out of murder. I don't see it. So many people die every day. Does it really matter if the number of those deaths you're responsible for is 0 or 1? I would like to assign more meaning to things than there is. Hey, want to hear a fun story about murder? Not really, but... Sure. Right. It's one time in the middle of the night, an old man heard a knocking on the door. He hesitated for a moment, then stopped what he was doing. After putting his tools away, went to the door. The door was a police officer. Excuse me, sir. Do you have security measures for your home? The officer asks. Oh, not really. Why? Responds the old man. There's been a horrid string of murders as of late, and just early at night, people reported a suspicious figure in this area, said the officer. I wanted to make sure everyone around here was safe. Gosh, how horrible. Thank you for informing me, officer, replied the old man. Oh, just doing my job, the officer said with a grin, unaware of the body underneath the bed at the old man's house. Actually, if you want, I could get some security stationed around here for you. Make sure you're protected, the policeman offered. That won't be necessary, said the old man. I'm a woodcarver. I have plenty of tools to defend myself lying around. Woodcarver, huh? You don't hear about that profession every day, said the officer. Just when a slight look of irritation began to cross the old man's face. Thank you again for the warning, but it is late and I want to finish my latest work before going to sleep. Would you mind leaving me alone? At this, the police officer wavered. They wondered if they were being rude, but the right thing to do was. Finally, they nodded their head. Sure thing. Your thing. I don't mean to keep you waiting. A smile at the police officer turned and walked away, and the old man closed the door with a smile on his face. He went back over to his workshop to continue his final masterpiece. Really could have ended the story with the body under the bed, at major point. Perfectly well. Oh, never mind! And the body under the bed began to move. Getting up, pulling out a knife, ready to do what they came for. Never mind, that went in a direction I did not expect. When the old man's body was eventually found, the police officer shrugged and said that they did all they could do. The end. Good times. You got me there, AZ. You swerved me. Poor guy. Before we go, I have to test your reading comprehension. What was the moral of the story? The police are bad at their jobs? Correct. That's what I'm talking about. I'm just going to say correct to everything, though. Maybe it's the way to helping others? Sure. Guess that's fine. Okay, yeah. Correct. Gold star for you. Ooh. Okay, we don't even have a jade lock. Means this might get... That might affect our play order here. Which means that Mercury's final chapter is endgame. Unless Thane's final chapter is also endgame. or Devon's, because Devon's proposition seems to be quite the final scenario, the final problem scenario here, with the getting the main cast in a room and killing them. But yeah, that is our first Jade Lock. Interesting. We have 3 gold keys. These 3 could all be gold Jade Locks, for all we know. These would be our only Jade Locks. Interesting. If these 3 are all Jade Locks, then our top row of Chapter 7s will give us Jade Keys to some degree, which is interesting. Perhaps spending our gold keys will get us Jade Keys, if that's how progression is locked. Yeah, after last video and this video, I'm really interesting thinking about how the plot progression for this game is set up, and what's the ideal method of plot progression, how Themis gated off certain story beats behind the keys. It feels natural, and it's nothing that we've ever hit a wall about playing through in order, sequentially and clockwise, which is our play order. It's a really interesting bit of thought here, I think. I was going to say, there's a... I was going to say, there's a... See, there was some people... I think, like I asked this in the Divine Deception Discord, I think for the most part people played the same way in order, but some people who just got interested in one character's storyline and just played on until they hit a lock and then moved on until they got the right key for it, which is like the ideal emergency plot progression that was intended to gate you off from finishing one character's path on their own until you get the context for where that path is going in other routes. I can imagine there is a very distinct wall between Eris's Reddit segments and Eris going IRL, meeting Kane, and now suddenly calling on her lawyering experience, which is her most interesting episode thus far. Her playing a very interesting role in the Olimpo debate, which means she might be in the room for the final problem when Devon comes in to do some Hotline Miami 2-ing there. Things are coming together. Things are really coming together, and I am kind of hyped for Chapter 7s. To unlock Vane, see if that Jade Lock intrigues me. That Jade Lock very much intrigues me. Matter of fact, I'm going to... Sunrise. Okay, maybe late at night. Went straight through the night, getting long to see sunrise. Just gonna fuck up my sleep schedule. Gonna see the connection here. So, is Mercury's Chapter 7 going to be the start of his adventure on the Manchette and, like, filling in the gaps? Because we're technically transitioning from Mercury's Chapter 6 to Thane's Chapter 1. So, I think at this point we have pretty much confirmed that Mercury is in fact Thane. Mercury killed Thane because Thane could identify them very clearly, which means that Mercury has a very distinct identity. Yeah, that's pretty much confirmed at this point. Pretty much outright confirmed here. That Mercury is Thane. The question is, who is Mercury? Because Odin recognized Mercury. Mercury is a very unique identity. Mercury seems to have a like a meaningful connection to JC. He's not Locke. That was my thought for a bit. Because Locke doesn't seem the type to have a meaningful connection with anyone. Least of all, a reporter. Here's a really obscure thought here. What if Mercury is Cain? Because the manjet came up in conversation between Eris and Cain. JC was an a subordinate of Cain's. At Cain's news organization, the name of which I'm blanking on at the moment. And JC was important to Cain. An important, strong voice on the side of the political spectrum that Cain was trying to avoid being completely biased for. So JC was important to Cain. JC's death still nags at Cain. What if Mercury is Cain? That prickly prick who keeps turning up in everyone's route. Laverna's best friend, in air quotes. Yeah, I'm seriously considering that at the moment. Which means Cain. So the question is, how would Odin recognize Cain? Was Cain at the scene of the Olimpo information theft? Mercury's distinctly male. Mercury becomes Thane, so my Eris' Thane theory is out. Mercury is distinctly male, has a unique appearance. Vels never interacts with Odin. Devon is too, I regret to say it, but unstable to be Mercury. And Thane is Thane. So there is no closed loop there. That would be an interesting twist, though, if there's a closed loop. Thane becomes Mercury. Or Mercury kills Thane, becomes the new Thane. Enters Thane's route. Kills a bunch of people, becomes desensitized to it, becomes the new Thane. Then tracks down Mercury in the past and a stable time loop between these two routes. That would be really silly. But a neat twist. Okay, I'm rambling enough here, but yeah. Let me know what you think. We're really getting to the point where we're getting close to big money reveals here. We are going for it. Until next time, though, until then, thank you for watching. I gotta end the video, else I'm gonna keep rambling about nonsense for another 40 minutes.